Our first guest, Iman, is currently on the cover of People magazine, which is on newsstands now. And you may know this, Iman rarely discusses her husband, David Bowie, but she told People magazine that David was her soulmate. And there was something else in that article that just hit my soul. She said in the article, "He's not my late husband, he's my husband." And to hear her talk about this deeply private side of her life is remarkable. And in addition to that, Iman's team and Iman wanted to share this photo with the Tam fam as well. I'm told that it is one of Iman's personal favorites. It is of her and David. And Iman now says she is now finding joy in the memories of the 26 years they spent together. And that is our conversation today. We are honoring love, accepting grief and loss, and finding positivity, something Iman is doing in a way that only she can, with a deeply personal fragrance that she created in dedication to their epic love story. She's here to talk to us about it all. Please welcome the one, the only, Iman. Please. Welcome to the show.
And thank you for such a welcome, warm welcome.
Do you, when you walk around, feel all of the love that and the reverence and the respect that people have for you? Do you feel it?
Yes, I really do, because I think people through the years have known that I'm a very private person. I live a public life, but I'm really a private person, and so was my husband. Yeah. So why we chose to live in New York is because New York is truly one of those places that people in the street honor your privacy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's why, I've wanted you on the show for such a long time, and you know how much I adore you.
And you are my girl, you know that.
Listen, I'm done. I'm out here. Iman says I'm her girl, and I'm crying. But I have always wanted to respect your privacy and honor that private side of your life. And then when you came out with this beautiful fragrance that was in honor of your love, I thought, she's ready.
Yeah.
She's ready to talk about it. And I now know it's because you have learned that there is joy on the other side of sadness.
Yeah, and I wanted to share that with everybody, I don't think it's unique to me that I have loved somebody and I've lost somebody. But last year was a trying year for all of us, for the individual of us and the universal of us, all right? So I went to my house upstate, and I was there. I thought I would be there for the weekend. And, of course, like all of us, everything shut down, and I was there for the whole year. And I thought that I really processed my grief, because it's been 5 years. Yeah. But I had also a teenager who lost her father. So I was helping her like all women do. First is the children. Yeah. You know that. Yes. Yeah. And so I was helping out with her grief, that I actually ignored mine.
You ignored it.
Yeah, so there I was on my own, and then grief came knocking at the door and stayed for a while.
When grief came knocking,
yes,
what did it say? Iman,
nothing, it just came and sat down with me.
Came and sat down?
Yeah.
And said, it's time.
It was time.
The grief said it's time.
It's time. And I was grateful to it, because now I was on my own, and I was given, like everybody, the time to deal with it, the solitude to deal with it, cry it out, don't sleep all night. It's okay. Yeah. And then it passed.
I know one of the things, in full disclosure, we spoke on the phone because you are someone, and I'll be honest, I said, I have to take care of her because she's part of the reason I'm here. Your legacy and what you've represented is why I'm able to sit in this chair. And when you said I'm ready to talk about the joy and the experience, it just took my breath away because one of the things you pointed out, you would binge watch those military videos with the reunions of the parents coming home.
Dear Lord.
And
I would watch those, and it's so heartwarming, but at the same time, it guts you out.
Yes.
Right? It really does. And so for me to watch, I have these beautiful mountains, so there's beautiful sunsets every day that bring tears of joy to your eyes because it's like every day is a new experience. And you feel grateful. And then all of a sudden, it's like, but he's here. He's all over the house. And because since he passed away, my husband, I started wearing his fragrance only so that I can keep him with me day and night. So every room I went, I still smell him, right? So just going through memories, the memory lane, and being at the property on my own and seeing the sunsets that reminded me of Florence, where we got married, and, all those Bali, and, all those memories came to me. And the fragrance became that. Right. I call it as a fragrance that's not trendy. It's a fragrance that has a past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's always been you and him, not trendy.
Yeah.
Both of you had your past lives separately, which you always talked about.
Yeah.
You were a couple, but individuals. You were Iman.
Yes.
Before you ever entered that relationship.
And he would do that.
Yeah.
When he introduced me to a musician, so he never said, my wife. Yeah. He will say, my wife, Iman.
Ah.
Yeah.
I love it. And you have said, for you, he was David Jones, his birth name,
yes,
not David Bowie.
Yeah.
How did was that early on? You said, listen, I've been in the celebrity world. I know celebrity. I am a celebrity. And I know you have to have the clear divide of who you are versus who people believe or want you to be.
Yeah, and let's face it, his name is David Jones.
Yeah.
And, when we got married, he said to me, would you change your name to Mrs. Jones? I said, not Mrs. Jones. Not to Mrs. Jones, but I'm my father's daughter, so I didn't want to change my father's name. So I'm still Iman Abdul Majid.
People know the legendary story of your life, but your family came here poor, and everything you are is their love poured into you and what you built on your own as a businesswoman and as a pioneer, even for equal pay for Black models when they were not receiving that money.
Yeah, when I arrived here in 1975, my first job, literally 3 days after I was here, was American Vogue. But when I started actually doing the money jobs, which is the advertising and, the beauty jobs, I realized that they were not paying, the Black models what they were paying Caucasian models. And I went to my agent and I said, listen, to me, it's not anything about race. Maybe you guys don't think it's race, but I'll tell you one thing. I want to just be paid for services rendered.
Right.
So
you look at Chanel Iman and all of these other models now who, of course, admit that they owe you a debt of gratitude for doing that and taking these stands and also launching Iman Cosmetics, which was revolutionary at the time. As I said to Iman Cosmetics line was Fenty before Rihanna.
Yes.
Because you said, there are many shades of brown. There are many shades of women of color that should be recognized.
Yes. I mean, in the United States, they were considering when you say a woman of color was just a Black woman. So in the rest of the world, when we say a woman of color, we mean all women who are not white.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring a new language to the beauty position and space that I changed it to women with skin of color.
The Met Gala gown, when I saw you, as I said before the break, I thought, can everybody else just stay home? I mean, no offense to anybody else. I mean, it was so beautiful. And then when I learned that the designer, Harris Reed, said the message was someone who is in a space of utter acceptance.
Yes.
That was so beautiful. I did not know that was the meaning. Yes. But that's what I saw there.
Yes.
Someone who would accept it
Yeah.
so much.
Exactly. And so when he created this for me, he actually sent the picture, you know, the drawing and the sketch. And I was like, I wish I was 20. I said, how am I going to carry this in my 60s? I can't do this. But they said, no, nobody else can wear it. And I was happy then when he told me what the inspiration was. But also it was really coming back to New York. We all wanted to celebrate New York, the return of New York, and, you know, the city that really gave me a home.
You always ask me about my son.
Yes.
Whenever we talk, she's like, how's the baby? How is Moses?
Yeah.
How has accepting where you are in this positivity impacted your daughter now? Because so much of what you were suppressing was for her.
Yes.
How does she describe what she sees in you now?
Yeah, funny enough, I was so worried about her during the COVID, but she actually called me every day to check on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was lovely. All of a sudden you saw your kid as a grown-up, right? Yeah. So,
Did you say it went so fast?
But what it did also, it's not just for my daughter. I have grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yes. So my daughter's little one, she's 4, so I didn't want her to forget me because, you know, they don't see you all the time. So we Zoom each other every Sunday, and we paint together.
Oh,
yes.
It's so beautiful. Before you go, I have this quote from you, and you said at one point in time, we have always been the masters of our own destiny.
Yes.
What does that mean for you today, those words?
In looking back and then where I am at, it is also the welcoming of the grief and going through and what it taught me, which is, as I always say, when people, I don't want them to think that it's just rosy every day. There's days that are harder than others, but it's the memories that we have that will sustain us for the rest of our lives when the person leaves us and passes away. But it is to hold on to those memories. Yeah. So now, before I felt, I dealt with my grief, it was about, oh, I wish he was here to see this with me. Every son said, oh, I wish he was here to look at this. But now it is, I look it through his eyes like he's sitting right next to me.
Oh. Well, thank you so much.